Hey internet friends, the term misinformation is, by definition, false information that is spread regardless of whether or not there is intent to mislead. Curiously, Dictionary.com announced that misinformation was their word of the year because of the role technology and social media played in spreading it. Even though the alleged problem of false information rapidly populating across the internet was largely orchestrated by those who desire widespread implementations of manufactured solutions like censorship, in this video we're going to do our part by making the distinction between fact and theory by combing through the events of the past year, providing ample evidence-based research to support our claims. So for those of you who like to keep score, I've got you covered because today we're going to talk about the conspiracy theories that turned into conspiracy facts in 2018. 2018 was the year that the total destruction of genetic privacy was disclosed to the general populace, thanks to the rise in popularity of for-profit DNA testing companies like Google-owned 23andMe, as well as Ancestry DNA, companies who sell your DNA to shadowy third parties. Can you imagine a world wherein any person at any time could be linked to a crime? Even one that occurred decades ago simply through a quick search on a universal DNA database. Welcome to reality. The push for public disclosure of a universal database began this year with a news story published in April, in which a genealogy database was utilized by police to solve the Golden State Killer cold case. The Golden State Killer was a predator who committed a series of rapes and murders across California nearly 40 years ago. This year, former police officer Joseph James D'Angelo was arrested after police uploaded an old DNA sample from one of the crime scenes to a popular genealogy database under a spoof name. From there, police were able to identify a genetic relative of the Golden State Killer. DNA sequences are unique not only to individuals but also to families. So it does not matter if you personally have not submitted a DNA sample through a service like 23andMe. These databases are able to build profiles on entire families if a single member submits their DNA. Partner that with the rate at which personal data is collected from social media platforms and sold to third parties. What are the potential consequences? What is being done with all of this information? And is the pursuit of justice for a few worth the sacrifice of genetic privacy for the masses? The sheer prospect of solving popular cold cases like the Zodiac murders have served as the vehicle to rally public support for a universal DNA database. And just like that, our genetic privacy was never taken, but a bulk of the population gave it away willingly, paying a high fee to have others profit from the most unique thing about them. At the end of November, reports emerged claiming that a Chinese scientist had created the world's first genome-edited babies, using a gene editing tool called CRISPR to delete a certain gene within the embryo. The result? A set of HIV-resistant twin girls, or so the reports claim. Though the media covered the story with a cautious tone, using adjectives like premature, dangerous, and irresponsible to describe these experiments, we must take note that the first genetically modified embryo story to make headlines was one pitched under the guise of disease eradication. Thus, this report was given a positive spin, despite the media's cautious cushioning. Movies like Gattaca have given us a glimpse of what the consequences of human-manipulated genetics and forced genetic engineering might look like. And even though genetic manipulation has long been dubbed a Franken theory of kooks, it's now very much a reality. The genetic modifications given to this set of twins will, inevitably, be inherited to their children, meaning that the long-term generational effects are unknown. If lessons of history partnered with not-so-fictional glimpses of the future disclosed in movies and television are any indicator of what's to come, science without ethics within the gene editing arena might result in something like a trend of designer babies, of which there is already a patent held by a Google-funded company. And inevitably, there will be a slow-roll form of eugenics if we follow down this path. But that's all hearsay. What's not hearsay is that the head scientists of these experiments went missing after reports of the genetically modified twin girls hit headlines. Curious, right? Recently acquired by Bayer, Monsanto, with its reputation of death and destruction, has long been the target of well-deserved criticism and outrage, with its greatest hits like Agent Orange, used during the Vietnam War as part of the United States herbicidal warfare program. Aspartame, an artificial sweetener found in an array of diet products that has anything but a sweet effect on the human body. And to top it all off, Monsanto has control over the majority of our food supply, genetically engineering crops in a number of ways, making them resistant to their most well-known product, Roundup. Roundup is a glyphosate-based weed killer utilized by an array of customers who were assured by Monsanto that it was safe enough to drink. The company encouraged farmers to spray Roundup on their crops as not only an herbicide, but also as a desiccant or drying agent. The majority of us aren't really knocking a shot of it back as much as we are ingesting various traces of it with the food we eat, which is a major problem. Because in August, a California jury ordered Monsanto pay $290 million to a 46-year-old cancer patient by the name of Dwayne Johnson. The California jury ruled that the world's most popular weed killer was responsible for the former groundskeeper's cancer. Evidence presented during the trial not only showed that Monsanto acted with malice, but also spent decades hiding the dangers of its product. Court documents revealed that Monsanto even paid third parties to publish positive remarks about the company on social media and other online platforms. So, if there's anyone in the comment section right now doing Monsanto's bidding, well, bless your heart. Throughout history, blood has been portrayed as a magical elixir of sorts because of its connection to power. As the fascination with immortality continues to masquerade as science in modern times, practices of the past, practices viewed as too barbaric and occult to be implemented in a civilized and progressive society, like drinking the blood of the young to retain youth, for example, are once again re-emerging. No, not in a Stephenie Meyer saga and not in an HBO series, but in real life. A startup called Ambrosia announced in September that it would be opening its first clinic in New York City, charging $8,000 to pump customers' veins full of the blood of young people. Young people Ambrosia described as donors between the ages of 16 and 25, with the blood having potential to fight aging according to a clinical study. But wouldn't the rise in popularity of this practice render young blood a commodity? Gee, I wonder what could go wrong here. Well, I don't know about you, but me, I'm just happy that PayPal founder Peter Thiel will be able to live out his dream. And that's all that matters. The militarization of space has long been a theory of the masses, often materializing in plots of blockbuster hits. But all that changed in August when Vice President Mike Pence made this theory a public reality, announcing the sixth branch of the United States military, the Space Force. The establishment of the Space Force was reportedly to ensure U.S. dominance in outer space and eliminate emerging threats in what was seen as a once peaceful frontier. Response to the announcement of an official Space Force to be implemented by 2020 has ranged from criticism over the allocation of funds and resources, that of which will be taken away from other military branches, to support of the effort to challenge advancements made by Russia and China, to fears of a false flag alien invasion to legitimize the sixth branch of the military and unite the world under one global government. So, internet friends, which conspiracy theory turned conspiracy fact caught your attention in 2018? What will 2019 reveal? Me personally, I'm always holding out for a major plot twist. While the future remains a mystery, history has taught us that humans have always had the capacity for change. Society holds a propensity towards justice, and secrets once buried can only remain hidden for so long. So let me know your predictions for 2019. I always look forward to reading your comments. Thank you so much for watching, subscribing, and supporting my channel on Patreon. Bye!